Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Game Brigade. My name is Brian, and today we're going to be diving into the late pledges that happened in the month of May. So if you are looking for more information about late pledges that you might have missed, this is the video for you, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so before we dive into the first game, I just want to say this was an idea that I had several months ago, which I called In Case You Missed It, where I dive into late pledges, which was actually very popular on my channel. I was surprised at how popular this series was. Doing a quick deep dive into campaigns that launched. I was trying to do weekly, but it was kind of hard to keep up. Not enough stuff was releasing at a time, so I stopped doing the late pledges. But I've heard enough people asking me for late pledge information that I'm going to try doing an end of the month series talking about everything that released in terms of late pledges for this current month. So let's hit the first one with our board game adjacent one, which is the rapid stat dice. Now I wanted to show this one because I think it's pretty cool. If you play D&D or anything like that, to create your stats, there's many different ways you can create your stats. You can use random rolls, you can use apps, whatever. But this guy's talking about one of the methods where you will roll your dice and remove the lowest one and sum that value up for that specific dice. So here's an example of him doing that, removing the 1 and then getting an 11. With his dice, which is kind of cool, it's a one-time thing. I don't know how often you're going to use, but it's got all the variety of results that are most likely to occur on a 20-sided dice. And then the star is for those unique, very random, hard-to-get ones. So like a 3. So to get a 3, you'd have to have 4 ones rolled to have a stat of 3. So he's saying if you roll a star, you in fact will roll this 12-sided dice, which has those rare numbers on it, to get that result. So it's kind of an interesting concept. I wanted to shout it out. It's pretty inexpensive. You can come down here. He's got the inexpensive in terms of getting the full set of 16. You could get a whole bunch of stuff if you want for 145. That is up to you. This is the rapid stat dice. Next, we are going to take a look at Fractured Sky. Fractured Sky ended its campaign on May 1st of 23. It is a medium light game with a rating of 6.8 currently on BGG. Fractured Sky is a bluffing deduction strategy game where players are going to use their airships to send them out to different locations on the board, trying to get either resources to continually build up more ships and more things to help them out throughout the game, or to score victory points. I reviewed this game. If you want to see more information about my coverage of my first impressions of playing this, I'll have a link in the description below, as well as all relevant links for your convenience. Please consider checking that out. Next, we have Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Area. Now, unfortunately, GameFound is not as good about telling when things ended, so this funded on March 28th of this year, and it's kind of all over the place in terms of what it's considered, but mostly it's rated a medium to medium heavy. Take that as you will. Now, Betrayal of the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Area is a 1 to 4 player cooperative adventure game set in the world of Elder Scrolls Online. And players are going to travel to different locations on this map right here. There's several different regions depending on what you pick up. Going on different types of quests depending on the guild you have currently selected as your guild. They'll be performing battles on the battle map. I don't know if I can find one very quickly. Probably not. And then also going on dungeon delves, which is one of my favorite parts about playing this, which is shown here on the board. In terms of what is available, you have several different pledge levels. You've got the base game at $195. This is fairly expensive in terms of what a base game would look like, but in terms of when I evaluate this one on my Should You Back video, it is somewhat comparable to Too Many Bones, which is another chip theory game, which is very highly rated, I would say. So take that as you will. In terms of my recommendation at the time, I recommended the gameplay bundle because it seemed like the best value for the price of everything you're getting one of the expansions, as well as getting the Trove item and Relic add-on to increase that replayability in item selections. There is an all-in bundle. You can choose this if you wish. When I went through this, I felt like there was a lot of things I didn't necessarily think were needed. and don't offer very good resellability if this game is not for you. So that is the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, available on GameFound for late pledge. And again, like I said, all the links to the things will be down below. Next, we have Heroes of Might and Magic 3. This ended on November 29th, 22, and it is considered a medium game. Now, this is an adventure exploration game set in the world of Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which is it's a PC game from 20 some years ago. I played this like literally when I was in middle school, and it includes competitive, cooperative, and solo scenarios, and every scenario will offer a different victory condition. So that's something you know for replayability or things you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be exploring the map. Let's see if I can show this in the video here. You're basically going to be exploring the map. I got to turn the audio off. Oh, come on. So you... Damn it. This video is awful in terms of trying to show you what I want to show you. So you're going to be exploring this map, going on scenarios, fighting different bosses. And one of the things I love about this game in terms of thematics is the battle map. So if you actually have played this video game, there is a... they do kind of this 3D battle where the armies are facing off against each other. Here it is. And I love that they represent this on a separate map that very much reminds me of the Cult. That was the word I was trying to think of. The Cult classic game, where this is how the actual battles took place in the game. So that's unique and cute. You can take that for you will. This is available for late pledge on GameFound, where you can find the pledges. The pledge for the base pledge was $75. The Azure pledge is where most of the stretch goals that people are really liking was found. So be aware that it says stretch goals and tower expansion, but in the actual campaign, they have these stars indicating what is part of what pledge level. So these are for the Azure and up pledge levels. So if you are looking for that, you'll see that star indicated here, showing that those stretch goals are only in those specific pledges. And then they have additional add-ons if you would like to take a look at those add-ons and purchase whatever you're looking for. If this game is for you, I will have the links in the description. Okay, Riftlands and Guild Academies of Valeria. This finished on Friday, January 6th, 2023. And there's a couple of things going on here. So when we head on over to the actual late pledge information, you can see that there are 4 different titles that we're going to be talking about here. We have Guild Academies of Valeria, a reprint of Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, as well as its first expansion, Rise of Titans, and then a new expansion for Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, Riftlands. So Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria is a worker placement dice drafting strategy game. Usually rated between like 2 to 4 players for the best playability, and on BGG it has a 7.7 right now, so take that as you want. And it is a medium heavy game. Riftlands is what the expansion that you'll be looking at here for Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria is going to be adding asymmetrical powers to this game. So if you're looking for that, take a look. Again, you can come down here and read specifically about each game that you're looking for if you want. The next one you have is Guild Academies of Valeria, which is featured right here. Again, another axe selection, dice drafting, dice manipulation, tile drafting, engine building, resource management. They're almost all the same in terms of the scope of how these games are played within what they do in the systems. So if you like their games, these might be for you. If you don't like their games, I recommend picking up one of something in the system and seeing if it fits your needs before going all in on something like this. But you can find all the information and which pledge levels fit your needs here. One thing I wanted to shout out for them, I thought that was kind of cool. For $15 plus shipping, they'll do a premium print and play files for all 4 products in English. I haven't seen that in a long time, so I thought that was kind of cool. So you can check that out if you would like. Next, we're going to be diving into Forges of Ravenshire. Now, there's not a lot of information I was able to glean from this to share with you guys. A lot of stuff. Forge of Ravenshire was on Kickstarter. It funded on finished campaigning on May 11th, 23, and it's a medium weight dice placement game where players are going to be using their dice to place in different locations, getting different types of resources, upgrading some things within their specific location, and getting different types of abilities. It does have a very whimsical look in terms of the theming. I definitely recommend doing more information. I'm not here to give you a total information about these campaigns in terms of a deep dive. I would take a look at this one if it suits your fancy. This one is on backer kit, by the way. Again, I'll have all the information in the links below. This will go smoother as we get better at it. So the next one is Fit to Print. This is a kind of a cute, interesting little game. Funded on a finished campaign on December 9th. I got to stop saying, either say funded or finished, Brian. You got to keep it together. This was ended on December 9th, 22, and it is a light game. Now, this is a strategy tile laying game, which plays in about 15 to 30 minutes. And this video is very good at kind of showing you exactly what the game is going to be played. Effectively, players are going to be drafting face down tiles from this shared pool of available tiles, putting them onto their work desk. When a player feels like they have enough information to make a page, they will say print it or something like that. And then all players are going to take their tiles and try to form them onto their front page. The best in terms of using whatever rules there are in the game regarding tile placements and, polyomino placement, although these are all mostly rectangles that you're going to be placing. I think it's kind of cute and kind of an interesting idea that you're creating an article front page utilizing ads, stories, and whatever, news stories, op-eds, and ads. I think it's kind of cool, something worth checking out. The other thing interesting about this campaign, this is currently on GameFound for its late pledge, but it looks like they have partnered with AEG for a reprint of several of their previous Kickstarters as well as some of their new stuff, which is Deep Dive in Point City. So if you're looking for additional games within this system, which are relatively well received, Calico, Cascadia, Point City. I played Point Salad, which is very good. Point City is actually an upgrade into that system. These are all very good games in terms of different systems and tile placement and whatnot, all kind of within the same kind of genre with each other. So you can come down here. They have different game bundles where you can get all of them, or you can get some of the select stuffs like the new things or the original ones that were very hard to find and pretty popular. So this is kind of cool. I think this is interesting that you're seeing some of these games collaborating with each other, and I'm wondering if they might use the same manufacturing plant, and maybe it's cheaper for them to do just a massive print run all together rather than doing it individually. I'm not sure. I think it's kind of cool to see companies working together in this regard. So that one was Fit to Print, but also you get bonuses for Cascadia, Calico, Verdant, Deep Dive, and Point City. Next, we're going to be taking a look at Witchy Cakes, which finished its funding on February 19th. And this is a light card game where players are going to be placing their little cards out that have different types of designs and shapes on them to build their cake. Now, players are playing as witches as they do this, and the rules are that the cake that you place above the next cake must have a similar background or shape design from the previous one played. Now, players also have the ability to interact with their opponents by knocking over their cakes by throwing one of their own cakes at it that has to be matching in terms of the cards. Now, it's not that complicated, but if you want to watch it, their video here has a very good introductory in terms of how this plays. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe there was a video that had a pretty... Oh, here it goes. This one was a pretty good little video in terms of, if you really want to know how it plays, showing you how the system works and what the rules are for the game. And you can find this one here at their own website. For that, I'll have the link in the description below. The final game we're going to be taking a look at is Axon Protocol. This was on Kickstarter and it finished on December 22nd, 22. And the late pledge is going to be found on GameFound. And the first thing I always think when I'm looking at this box cover is the Mr. Manhattan here. Like, this is just so strange to me. But this is a competitive cyberpunk game themed game with its unique hook twist on this one is that all of the workers in this game are shared between the players. So players are going to be activating these workers that are located here on the board and either doing its routine, whatever they normally might do, or activating its special abilities. Now, all of these workers, though, can be activated by all players in the game, so they're going to be either trying to use them against you or taking advantage of the abilities by doing what you maybe taking advantage of what you did with a minion or whatever in that regard. So that's an interesting take if you're interested in that. In terms of its weight, I kind of looked at everything and I placed it in the medium one myself. Never played it, and there's not enough ratings on Board Game Geek to really get an effective rating in terms of what this might be for an overall rating. So that is all the late pledges that were for the current month of May. If anything happens between the time of this recording and the end of the month, unfortunately, those were skipped. So please don't, launch your late pledges on the last 2 or 3 days of a month, because that would suck. All right, my name is Brian from Game Brigade. Thanks for watching. Talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.